Welcome to your weekly dose of the Chris Perspective podcast.
Hello folks and welcome to another episode of the podcast. I think we're now at episode 8, so we're getting there. First off, I want to kick off saying that now the lockdown seems to be easing a bit. People are still going a bit OTT. Folks, it's not the fucking summer holidays, like, relax, chill. The fire hasn't gone away, you know, as Jay Adams would say. Yeah, like today, Falls Park was absolutely fun with people, especially young kids. Their parents not know where they are, don't care where they are. Just seem to be a lot of people, so more than groups of two. Like, same with the waterworks. That's been pretty fun, but I don't know, people must not be caring now. Also, the taxi man told Claire last week that the amount of people he's lifted to go to house parties is unbelievable. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, do people think they're immune to this or they're not going to get it? And speaking of house parties, the apartments there near, was it the Odyssey or somewhere in town? Was it the Dream Apartments? I think that's sure. Someone had rented out 2 floors and partied from 6 in the afternoon until 3 in the next morning. The police were called several times. Like, just madness. So yeah, start off. Claire watching this show on Netflix called Mad Men. It's my cup of tea, like, but showing last night, I was just in the background noise for me. The guy was on a plane, and I said to Claire, "Fuck, do you remember the tables on the plane used to be at that size, and depending on what time of day it was you were flying, it was earlier from early to lunchtime. It was breakfast. It was lunchtime and dinner. It was lunch, and you go on dinner time, you got to be dinner now. Remember him, and they're all free. As I would say, meals on planes. Uh, yeah, it used to be fantastic. Now you get fuck all. You buy your shit and the wee trays you get in front of you are fucking tiny. Um, Hold on, let's pause this. And I'm not a podcaster. I got a phone call. But yeah, now you get nothing. You have to pay for everything. So I'm by listening to the podcast. If you remember those days too, flying on planes, you got your meals free. It was breakfast, lunch, dinner. Give me a wee PM or a comment under the podcast. It'd be good to hear from more people's stories. So especially moving on again, going back to the videos on London Rail, which I've seen for the past couple of weeks. Just haven't mentioned the podcast previous, but I will today. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Let's see. Yeah, so he done an interview. He done an interview with your man Rose from London Rail. And it's called "My Fight Against Mandatory or Vaccinations, Big Pharma and Dr. Vasui, I think it's pronounced. It's 2 hours long, but I'm only going to play a wee snippet for you. I'll post the links on my YouTube as well. If ever fucking says play. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so. trailer for it. Here we go.
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the American environmental activist, attorney, and author. You are the chairman of Children's Health Defense, whose mission is to end the epidemic of children's chronic health conditions by working aggressively to eliminate harmful exposures, hold those responsible accountable, and establish safeguards. Your written articles have appeared in the New York Times, Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, and Rolling Stone magazine. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, you have contradicted the mainstream media and are here today to discuss the vaccine agenda, global lockdown consequences, the implications of 5G, and the roles of Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates.
Fauci,
Robert,
that's how
welcome
you
to
say it.
London Real. Thanks for having me, Brian. Great having you here. I just first wanted to announce that we are streaming now on our new Digital Freedom platform, which is a censorship-free, independent broadcasting system that is of the people, by the people, for the people, and it's available exclusively on our website at londonreal.tv. Robert, I pledge to you and everyone watching us that none of this conversation will be edited, censored, removed, or banned,
Unless
and
it's
that
YouTube.
anyone in the world can watch the full version of this episode free at londonreal.tv/Kennedy, thanks to the generous donations of over 25,000 people around the world, also known as the London Real Army. For anyone wanting to become a founding member of the Digital Freedom platform, they can visit
Blah blah blah. Hurry up, Brian, will you?
londonreal.tv/freedom
Because
to
I'm all day
donate and
here.
fight with us on the front lines to protect our human
Dinner,
rights.
dinner became
Here at
made
London
here.
Real, we've been a
Starving.
platform for free speech since 2011, and Robert, I'm excited to have you here today. You know, I wanted to start and talk about something that you're really familiar with, and that is vaccines. In the UK, we keep hearing vaccines. In America, we hear vaccines, and it feels like we're being told that this is the only way we can return to normalcy, the only way we can go back to
My
work.
corona.
And I had a guest yesterday, and we streamed to 1 million people watch this. It was the largest live stream of a conversation in human history. And he said, Brian, there's something called the problem, reaction, solution. You have a problem, there's a public reaction, and then there's a solution. And it feels like we're kind of all being herded toward this vaccine, and now it's being rushed. And I'm just wondering, what is your take on all of this? Do you think it's something we should proceed with caution? Do you think there are pros and cons of a potential vaccine? Or just curious what your take is on kind of the entire situation?
Well, I agree with that. First of all, let me apologize for my voice, Brian, which should improve as we talk. I had a very, very strong voice when I was 42 years old, and then I got a disease.
Is he back from the corner first? Looks like I can talk.
Very strong voice when I was 42 years old, and then I got a disease.
This is fucking shit. I just get to 3 minutes for 9 seconds and it just hits itself. So folks, that video is going to be out the window. I'll post a link, as I say, under the YouTube post. So I'll move on. Ice-T also had a meeting with this guy, Brand Rose from London Real. I'm going to play this for you now. His one is about freedom of speech. Just watch what you say. Censorship during coronavirus lockdown. And he's not wrong. Look at Davey Icke. His YouTube channel's been pulled. His Facebook profile's been pulled. They're trying to shut down his website. Freedom of speech is out the window now, folks. Let's see.
Madness, insanity, live in profanity. Then some punk claiming they understand me? Give me a break. What world do you live in? Death is my sect. Now guess my religion. Colors.
That's cold right there, man. Let me give you one rhyme for the road, man.
Love Ice-T.
Let's go back since you busted some rhyme. Here you go. I write rhymes with addition and algebra, mental geometry. Don't even come at me talking that weak and popping that bullshit. Get out my face. The fool could get his head split. A lot of doubters said it couldn't be done by me. Them same suckers are now looking from under me. Woo! Woo! It's not YouTube shutting you down. It's other people telling YouTube to shut you down. I learned I had the right to say anything, but I gotta be prepared for the blowback and the ramifications of what I say. You got this name, you got this reputation. Be that motherfucker, man. I'm not gonna fight you. I'll just leave and I'll find another vehicle to put my message out. Players don't whine or cry. They figure this shit out, man.
American rapper, actor, producer, and author. You started your career as an underground hip-hop artist in Los Angeles before signing your first record deal in 1987. You've since gone on to release 15 albums, appear in over 80 films, and star in NBC's Law & Order Special Victims Unit for over 20 years. Throughout your career, you've encountered controversy and protest, especially for the song Cop Killer, a commentary on police brutality and racism that was widely censored and ultimately led to your departure from Warner Records. You're considered to be one of the pioneers of gangster rap, always on the forefront of new messages and mediums, and your work has always been an inspiration to me. Ice-T, welcome to London Real.
Thanks for having me, man.
It was great to have you. I'm wondering if I could kick it off by asking you some advice. Would that be all right?
No, wouldn't you?
Let's start.
All right, you're the guy for this. So, I put out a video log about a week ago that was titled "Freedom of Speech, Just Watch What You Say."
Absolutely.
And it was an homage to you and your album, and it was because I had just been censored, and I was angry, and I was kind of in protest. And just this is how this breaks down. On April 6th, I had a gentleman in this studio right here named David Icke, and we had a 2.5-hour conversation about some controversial stuff: the coronavirus, the 5G, the vaccines, Bill Gates, all this stuff. But it was two people talking for 2.5 hours, and it was the second largest YouTube stream in the world that day, second to only Donald Trump that day. So
Right.
it just blew up. It was 65,000 concurrent people. And based on a previous episode I had with him 4 weeks earlier, it was 4 times as big. And when we did the numbers from his previous one, this would have been watched probably 30-some million times, we figured, as a video podcast, making it probably the biggest one in history, right up near Joe Rogan, Elon Musk levels, like 30-some million views. So we got done and we were like, man, this was incredible. It was a great vibe in the room, like some real serious thought. And then 30 minutes later, it was pulled and deplatformed from YouTube. So I've been doing this 9 years, having real conversations with real people, everybody from musicians to boxers to members of parliament to, CEOs of billion-dollar companies. And this is the first time that ever happened. And so my initial reaction was like, I was mad, and I started uploading different versions to YouTube. I tried to get in touch with them. They wouldn't call me back. And for the next 24 hours, I didn't get an answer. The BBC wrote about it the next day. They had already talked to YouTube. They said they took me off because I violated standards. And we got into this whole thing about censorship. And, for me, I just got angry because I thought First Amendment, freedom of speech, it's two guys having a calm conversation. And later I was banned on Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn blew all my profiles away for sharing similar bits of that content. And I got angry and I thought about you, with Cop Killer, and how also they didn't understand the nuanced conversation. Like YouTube said he was a COVID-19 denier. And I said, that's not what he said. You just didn't listen to it. And so I've been the last 2 weeks fighting this whole war, and all of my people around the world that watch us, millions of people, have been fighting back, and I've decided as a symbol of protest to have him back on again, and we're going to stream it on May 3rd, and I'm trying to get 1 million people watching this at the same time to make it the largest stream of a conversation in history. But we got to set up our own platform, so we just did a crowdfunding race. Yeah, you with me? All right, I'm almost done. So I was like, we can't do it on YouTube, but man, this bothers me. It just bothers me that they're saying we can't do this. And I know it's a private company, and I signed the community standards, but it's a digital platform that represents human speech in the world, and I think they need to respect some civil liberties. So anyways, the end of it is that in the last 48 hours, these people in a recessionary economy when everyone's broke, and I've never asked for $1 in 9 years for London Real. I don't roll that way. I produce products. We just hit $350,000 for that fund. And it's going to take us 100,000 to probably stream 1 million people live. So the people have spoken. We're calling this the Digital Freedom Platform, and it's been this crazy thing that I've been wrapped up with. And I just thought of you and Cop Killer, and I feel like maybe YouTube is my equivalent of your Warner Brothers, because that's my distribution network. But I also feel there's a lot of political forces going in here I can't understand. I got government ministers calling me out. There's Ofcom, a regulator here in the UK, that's trying to shut, things down. And who better to ask about this than you? So maybe you can talk about maybe your thoughts on this, and maybe even how you remember it going down with Cop Killer. I just watched that interview of you on Arsenio Hall, which, man, is powerful. I see a man with the weight of the world on his shoulders, but also you're represented on there. So just curious for your thoughts, Ice.
Freedom of speech, just watch what you say. whenever you use somebody else's platform to get your message out, you can be censored by them. If I write in a magazine and I turn it in, and that magazine has a guy called an editor, he's going to determine what that magazine's positions are and if they want to let it fly. If they think it's going to mess with some of their ads or some of the people that pay to be on that site. So what you did was you made some people uncomfortable, and it's their platform. We don't own the internet. Like, people don't know. Like, you're on Instagram, you don't own Instagram. It's theirs. Facebook, it's theirs. Twitter, it's theirs. So they can just shut you down. So you still kind of playing in a censored world. You know, you got to know that they still control it. Now, like what you said is, if you create your own platform, then you can get it out. But you still don't own the internet. You see what I'm saying? So there still could be somebody that can still come over the top and somehow shut you down. The only time you actually have free speech is when you and I are sitting in front of each other talking directly to each other. So it's kind of like, I learned I have the right to say anything, but I got to be prepared for the blowback and the ramifications of what I say. If I get on here and I say something considered anti-gay, I have to be prepared for gay people to attack me, even though I would never say something like that, because that's not how I feel. But if I were to, they're going to attack. If I say something about the cops, they're going to attack. So when I came out and I did that song, I was under the impression, I have free speech. I could just say what I want to say, and people will listen. Oh no, I got attacked, and I had to learn that. You know, I always say you have to be prepared for what you guys are gonna put out. I mean, I tell people all the time, you can't go to your girl and say, "Hey, I just had sex with your sister," free speech. You know, like, there's gonna be a blowback to what you say. So all I can tell you is that whatever you guys are putting out, you can't put it out expecting to use other people's vehicle without expecting them to shut it down. And then, I mean, who reads those standards and practices and whatever they make you sign? You just click the button, you know? So we don't really know what you can say on YouTube or what you can do on Twitter until you hit that wall. Just like me, I didn't know what I could do on Warner Brothers until I hit that wall. And Warner Brothers didn't censor me. Everybody thinks Warner Brothers censored me. No, Warner Brothers put the record out. They just got attacked. They got hit, and then they hit them in the pocket at the stockholders meeting. And of course, it's a business. So they're like, okay, if me and you have a big corporation and one person in that business is causing a problem and it's going to make us lose, they're going to have a conversation with you. So I decided to leave Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers never did one wrong thing to me. They were victims of the attack along with myself. They stood up as long as they could, and I decided.
Right. That interview is on for an hour and a half. So again, I'll post a link on for you with that interview. If you want to listen to it, go ahead. If you don't, then fair dues. So moving on, another London Rail interview is with I want to say a doctor. I'm not 100 on it. So again, this was uploaded on the 3rd of May. The title is General Robert S. Spalding III, China's Sixth Front War with America, How to Weaponize COVID-19, 5G and AI. Again, this is on for an hour and a half, but I'll only play a couple minutes of it, not the full video, because I ain't sitting here for an hour and a half listening to it. I'm recording a podcast and my food isn't ready, so yeah.
London Real, I am Brian Rose. My guest today is General Robert Spalding, the former U.S. Air Force Brigadier General turned foreign policy strategist and author. For more than 26 years, you held integral roles at the Department of Defense, the State Department, and in the Trump administration, you were the Senior Director for Strategy to the President. You are a senior fellow at the Hudson Institute, focusing on U.S.-China relations, and your work on 5G has reset the global environment for the next phase of cybersecurity. Your latest book, Stealth War, How China Took Over While America's Elite Slept, unveils the Sixth Front War that China is waging on the United States. General Spalding, welcome to London Real.
Thank
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's great to be here and great to have you. I'm super excited for this. I just want to first of all announce that we are streaming now on our brand new Digital Freedom platform, which is a censorship-free, independent broadcasting system that is of the people, by the people, for the people, and it's available exclusively on our website at londonreal.tv. Robert, I pledge to you and everyone watching us that none of this conversation will be edited, censored, removed, or banned, and that anyone in the world can watch the full version of this episode free at londonreal.tv/Spalding. Thanks to the generous donations of 25,000 people around the world. I also call the London Real Army. For anybody wanting to become a founding member of the Digital Freedom Platform, they can go to londonreal.tv/freedom to donate and fight with us on the front lines to protect our human rights. Here at London Real, we've been a platform for free speech since 2011. And Robert, I'm super excited to have you here today. I thought we would start by jumping right into it. And it's a statement you made recently, which was, the Communist Party of China is responsible for the pandemic. Please, Robert, explain.
Well, so a lot of people get hung up on the origin of the virus, and I think that is an answer we're not going to have until the end of the Chinese Communist Party, as is normally true for any totalitarian regime. You don't get access to the archives until it fails. But what we do know, and what has been made public by the Communist Party itself, was that on the 7th of January, Xi Jinping was running the crisis in Wuhan personally. Now, I know from my past as a defense attaché and senior defense official in Beijing that when Xi Jinping gets eyes on a problem, a crisis, or a budding confrontation between the U.S. and China, he's very directive and has direct control. Now, I was there in Beijing a week before they took the UUV in the South China Sea, which was a underwater glider. I watched how Xi Jinping executed direct control over the captain of the ship in the South China Sea as we were negotiating the return of that vessel. So I know that if he says on 7 January he was in charge of the... Also know that in December the Chinese Communist Party knew about human-to-human transmission, and there's public evidence of that on the 13th of January. So 7 January he's in charge, 13th of January they publicly acknowledge human-to-human transmission. And what's going on at this time? The highest peak season for travel in China for New Year's. So 7 January, 13 January, then 23 January, they close Wuhan. Now, the Wuhan mayor says at that time that already 5 million people have left Wuhan. We also know that based on a DHS report that came out this week, that they turned from a net exporter of PPE, protective gear for frontline responders for coronavirus, into a net importer during the same time frame in January and February. So they're importing much more PPE than they're exporting at the same time that they're telling the WHO and everybody else that there's nothing to see here. So we have evidence there that, it was purposely done. So disregard where the virus came from, the pandemic.
As I say, it's almost long, but that's a wee snippet of the video. So moving on swiftly, a couple of days ago now, the Scottish FA had handed Celtic the title. Which I think a few, well, particularly Rangers fans were pissed off. But also I felt bad for Hearts. Even though it's worst league in the fucking world, but still. Hearts were only a couple of wins away from safety. And yet, because the season's been void, I think they're going to get relegated. But I'm near sure that Hearts are going to appeal it, and they were trying to actually sue Scottish FA. Just read a wee article about this. So it says that the Finnish bottom of the league after the season was halted with 8 games left. In a statement, Hart said no club should be unfairly penalised amid the COVID-19 pandemic, and they are continuing to take legal advice. But legal action would both be time-consuming and expensive. However, the cost of the club of relegation would outweigh these considerations. It's the same in Premier League and the Championship. who goes down, who goes up to stay where they at. Surely you have to have people relegated and promoted. Although it may be a bad thing that seeing Leeds back in the Premier League, so you can see them get beat every week. But yeah, I mean, I hope something doesn't happen with the Premiership. Although I know Liverpool are 2 games away from winning it, the bastards. But still, if you're going to 40 a season, you can't really appoint a winner and losers. I think the fair thing to do is if your team is at the bottom and they've mathematically have no chance of survival, then there's no choice to go down. But I think Hearts did. I mean, looking at the table, the Scottish table that is, I mean, Celtic finished, well, because it was halted, they finished with, I believe, 80 points. Rangers were on 67. 8 games left. I mean, I couldn't say Rangers winning 8 games or Celtic losing or drawing 8 games. Whereas Hearts, as I say, Hearts were only more or less a game and a draw or 2 wins away from safety. I mean, they were 4 points behind Hamilton, and they were only 6 behind St Mirren, who was 9th. So I mean, a couple of wins there, they would have been safe. So I can see why they feel grieved. Who knows? I mean, they could have won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. We don't know how it's going to end. See on the Premiership. Let's look at the Premier League table. I mean, as it stands as of today, like there's no chance of Man City catching them. Liverpool are way ahead on 82 points. But as regards to the bottom of the table, let's see the standings. This fucking shitty tablet. I mean, you've Bournemouth, Villa, and Norwich. Norwich, they could catch Villa, but I mean, with only a couple of games left, they're 4 points behind Villa, and Villa are 2 points behind Bournemouth. Actually, Villa are 2 points behind Bournemouth, Watford, West Ham. So I mean, a couple of wins, they could be well in safety. Again, do you just punish Norwich and then promote Leeds, or do you sacrifice Villa and Norwich to promote Leeds and West Brom? The road, no matter what, like, it's going to be unfair. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Also, regarding the golf, as one of the listeners who knows, my mate Chris, he was asking me about golf. I'll answer that near the end, but they opened there on Sunday, in the UK, but only opened here I think on Monday or yesterday. And most clubs in Ireland are only allowing members only, which is a bit shit because in the day, I know members pay a lot of money to be members, but their really income or their the can take over, it comes from visitors basically. I mean, most members don't really stay. I think after a game of golf, it's the weekend. The rest of visitors would stay and have a bite to eat and have a few drinks, whatever. That's their money maker. But hopefully that changes soon because I mean the glorious weather. It's a bit shit not enjoying it, especially if you're in the golf. You like playing golf in the sunshine. So hopefully they allow non-members back on the courses soon because I'm really buzzing for a game. Haven't played in now. It'll be almost 2 years now. Maybe a year and a half, pushing it the most. Also, returned the weekend there was the German Bundesliga. That was quite good to watch, but quite strange. No atmosphere, no fans, but weird. I watched the Dortmund match again. I know they do every game the Dortmund wall, the celebration, but they done it anyway with no one of the fans. It was a bit weird. But yeah, if that's the way it feels going to be for a while, it's going to be really, really strange. It's not like the fans make it into the day. I think like should just for a season. I mean, putting players at risk. Yes, I know they could pay millions, but I mean, it was a big. I know it was Derby hour against Shackle, and there wasn't really many people, but it was a big derby game. It's gonna be hard to push fans away from trying to like experience the atmosphere outside the ground. So again, another hard situation for the football authorities. Um, how did that start? Last night we ordered pizza from Love Pizza up in Calephill Road. Um, it said that they were closing at 2 o'clock, and I think I ran about quarter to 10 to. I had a promo code that I wanted to use. When I said to the girl on the phone that I wanted to use it, she said it was only for the app. But I'd said that the app wouldn't allow me the order. It said that they were closed. And I said I was ringing, so she put me in the hold and went away. She says, no, I'm on my end. I was like, that's your end, but it's not allowing me to order. Like, you're not going to order food in the shop like where you work. He says, it's not allowing me. He says, is a code only for online orders or app orders? They said, yeah, it was. He says, that's fine. So after I gave her everything and they asked her, that's okay, go ahead. Pardon me, I think she misunderstood what I meant. I didn't know. Did she think that I meant, no, it's okay and it's fine, don't go ahead with order, or that's okay, just go ahead with it and don't worry about the promo code. So I ran back and I was like, oh, just place order for blah blah. And she says, oh, what's your address? And I says, give it. She says, yeah, what's wrong with it? And I was like, nothing, I just want to make sure I didn't quite, if you were confused whether I wanted to cancel or go ahead without the code. But anyway, no, I went through and fucking delicious, but I think it wasn't a case of being hungry. I think it was just a case of the munchies. For some reason, some listeners listening, you know why that is. But yeah, there's a lot of pizza. I think I have Ormer Road and Calephill. So if you ever popping by them, folks, definitely check them out. They're furnished in Domino's and better value for money, and that's crazy. And their hot spicy wings are absolutely delicious. Yeah, so that's that subject over. I notice if anybody who watches Buffy, I don't, but Claire got me into it. We're on season 6. There's an episode called Live Cereal, and I noticed that during one of the scenes in the background of the bar where they're playing poker, there's a box of Sol. I'm not sure what year that episode was, but let me double check. This feels pretty cool. Seeing Sol is now a big thing. So Buffy. Yeah, so that episode actually aired in 2001. I don't think it was that. And when did Sol come out? The drink, that is. It was probably over in Mexico and where. And there you are. Sol was born in the heart of Mexico in 1899. But when did it reach our lovely shores? Will Google tell me, or will say fuck off? I don't know. If anybody listening to the podcast knows when Sol became a big thing here, or first. Fuck me, I'll get this podcast on tonight. No pause there. My food arrived. Lovely KFC. And KFC in fucking ages. Tell you what, not only is KFC, I think they're looking good. I know someone else does. Right, so so Sol. Fuck me, out of breath on them steps. If anybody knows when Sol came big thing here, or when it was first introduced, let me know. So, questions then, before I end. So Leo had asked me, let's see where you're at. Have I been out golfing since the restrictions have lifted? If so, how did you play? If not, when and where will you play? Well, before actually lockdown was first introduced, Chris, I had booked for me and my dad to go and play Temple. Lovely wee course, licensing course. And I think that was like 2 or 3 days before actual lockdown came into effect in the UK. And that was, I put it for the Wednesday, so on the Monday I booked it, on the Tuesday I ran to confirm were you still open, was it going ahead, and they said yes. And then on Wednesday morning I was out shopping for food, and lo and behold, the booking had been cancelled. So hopefully get out the Temple, Chris, but I'll probably play a bit shit, because I haven't really played here in over 2 years or so, but I've played in Spain last year when I was over. The golf course, do you remember that course, Chris? The fucking the golf buggies. I fucking near wrecked one trying to park it again when we were finished. So yeah, I'm busting the go out to play a bit of golf. But haven't played since for a while. So just before the end the podcast, folks, today I received my order of the new 50 Cent book. I'm just going to read a wee bit of it to you. A few wee quotes here and there for ye. There was a cracker one here that I read earlier on today that I wanted to throw in the mix there. Where are ye? So one of the quotes was, it was by him, by the way, it was by someone called Daniel Boone, or Bone, whatever I want to pronounce it. I wouldn't give a tinker's damn for a man who isn't sometimes afraid. Fears the spice that makes it interesting to go ahead. Sorry, space. Yes, this is the quote that 50 Cent had said in the book. I live on the edge. I'm only free because I'm not afraid. Everything I was afraid of already happened to me. Damn, that's cold, man. So, folks, thanks for listening, and as always, stay safe, wash your hands, wash your balls. Peace out.